Good evening, film fans, and welcome to another episode of your Thursday's London Film Club with me, Hannah Jackson. We've got 3 films to review with my guests, David Brake from film site One Room with a View, and Dominic Davies, founder of Backyard Cinema. So let's see what's on the shortlist tonight. Steve Carell is back, this time with his long-lost twin who wants to reignite his bad boy streak in Despicable Me 3. A grumpy old man struggles to cope after the death of his wife in the black comedy The Man Called Hoover. And a young getaway driver who rides to the beat of his own soundtrack in the explosively entertaining Baby Driver. First up, there's been a lot of additions to a lot of franchises recently, and Despicable Me is no different. It's number 3.
He's really good to snuggle with.
Agnes, what are you doing?
Since you don't have a job, I just wanted to help.
Excuse me.
Hey, could you?
Oh, of course. Now, as I was saying,
Goodbye.
Ow, ow,
Seriously?
ow. I really must have a word with you on behalf of your twin brother, Drew.
What? Twin brother?
Twin brother? Big brother?
Dude, you ready to continue the family tradition, you and me? No, I left that life behind me. Just one heist.
What's the difference between me and you? You talk a good one, but you don't do what you
Despicable Me 3. Okay, we're all giggling. Dom, what's this one about?
Well, it's pretty obvious, really. It's the third in the series then. Illumination Studios. We're back with Gru and the family, and this time he has a brother, a twin brother, who's trying to coax him over to the dark side. But there's also a new villain, a new baddie, who is probably the highlight for the whole movie, I reckon.
Yeah.
But that's about it, really. There's some minions running around.
Yeah,
Who else do you need to
not
go?
a plot.
There's not much
Is it
else you
really
need.
that thin?
Yeah,
Well, I
we
mean,
get
no,
a
no.
dumb dud hand here. Like, there's not much plot. It's basically his brother appears on the scene trying to convince him to get back into the life of crime, and there's a villain in the background, Balthazar Bratt, who's, like you were saying, is probably the star of the show. He's voiced by Trey Parker from South Park.
Well, that was my favourite. I mean, I haven't watched South Park for a long time, but having the main villain voiced by Trey Parker was brilliant, because I couldn't help myself but giggle at everything he said. And he's a villain for the adults. He's an 80s villain.
Shoulder pads.
Yeah, and there's some really good spoofs of him being like a toy from the 80s and stuff. And then matching that is the soundtrack, which is, I feel like, pretty much there for the adults, really.
Yeah. I mean, wow, OK. Well, it's not surprising we're here, is it? Because Despicable Me 2 was Universal's highest-grossing film at the US box office until Jurassic Park. And the franchise, including Minions, has made $2.5 billion. That's not including the merchandise.
Wow.
So hence why number
the third
3 has
one.
come
All
along.
the memes.
And, you know, it's perfectly fine. Like, this is... it's
fun.
one of the weird... It's weird because there's a point where I'm kind of like, out of all of the franchises we reviewed, Pirates, Alien, all the others, Transformers...
This is the best.
Like, this isn't the worst. Like, we're saying best is like glazing it with 5 stars on the poster. Like, this is a very fine, nice film. Like, kids will love it more than adults, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, Illumination have proved themselves as a studio now. I mean, they're up there with Pixar, I reckon. Like this, I mean, well, they're getting to that point. I mean, there's differences, but I don't think that they should be afraid of challenging Pixar on that sort of level. I mean, the animation in this is absolutely next level.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a few years since the last, Toy Story 3 or whatever the last Pixar one from there was, but it's been a few years, and you can just see how far it's come along. I mean, there's a shot with the beach and the sea, for example, and it looks like a movie. I mean, it's amazing.
Looks like real life.
And if you look back at Despicable Me 2 and 1 and go back, it's come a long, long way.
I mean, obviously, it is incredible. They're doing so well. However, have they got to be a little bit careful in that this was quite a lot messier? And I think the parts of the Minions, they overdid it maybe with Minions. And so in this, they don't make as many appearances, but it definitely felt like they had their own separate scenes. It didn't feel very cohesive.
Yeah.
They've got to be a little bit careful.
They treat the Minions kind of like Scrat in Ice Age. You know, the idea where the story gets a bit empty, so they just fill it up with a bit of Minions going banana and bottom. And so, you know, it's funny, and, like, kids will love that and lap it up because they don't really care about the narrative strand. And
No,
so
but the subplots did feel slightly thin. And I think the difficulty is you can't move too much away from actually caring from these characters, because that's what essentially we love about it. So was that still there?
Well, I think it was interesting because, well, this is the thing that if you're going to compare them to Pixar, they fall down, and it felt like they're trying to cram something into every sentence, and you don't need to do that. Like, just calm down a little bit. It's okay.
It is
like,
100
look
miles
at
an
Toy
hour.
Story 2, and you get a 5-minute scene of a girl losing a toy. It's okay to have that, whereas this felt like every single line was a catchphrase or something a kid could repeat. And I feel bad for parents whose kids are going to be running around the house repeating everything in this film, because whether it's unicorns or minions or dance songs or whatever, it's just like everything is constant. If they just sort of pull back a bit.
They are setting up another merchandise strip of
Hooray.
unicorns there.
Yeah, of course.
All right, well, we're going to go for popcorn. So, Dom, what out of 5?
I've been saying 3 all week to myself, but actually I think I think it deserves a 4, man. I think
Wow.
I think the studio have done. I think the studio have done really well with it.
I did watch this with Dom, and he
we
was
had a
loving
great
life.
time.
Yeah.
There were genuine laughter coming
laughing
from
in the
our
trailer.
screen.
It was very funny.
I'm miserable and hate life, so I'm going to give it a 3. It
Okay.
is really good fun,
Yeah.
but it's just more for kids than for adults.
I'll give it a 3.5.
All right, well, now you've said that, then we'll go for 3 out of 5 for Despicable Me 3, and it's rated Certificate U, and it's out in cinemas tomorrow. OK, then get those phones at the ready, because we want you to get involved via Instagram and Twitter with your thoughts on tonight's films using our hashtag London Film Club. But you can also send us a quick email to londonlive.co.uk. Next up, the Swedish Oscar-nominated The Man Called Hoover.
Det blir rena cirkusen där. Hunden ska sluta pinka på våra plattor.
Lyssna inte på den elaka gubben, prins.
Vet, allt det som du och jag har byggt upp, det kommer bara förfallande. Det är ingen ordning när du inte är hemma. Jag har flyttat in ett par nya grannar där mitt emot.
Vi tänkte kanske att du är lite hungrig.
Nej, jag är... Nej, hallå! Nej! 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 Idiot!
Vi har fått så kallt inomhus. Kan inte du titta på det?
Ta en filt till.
Rädda livet på honom.
Honom. Rädda livet på honom.
A Man Called Hoover.
Uwe.
Hoover. What is
Mr.
it?
Uwe to you.
OK. And what's this about?
So it is a story about a man called Uwe. See what I did there? And basically, he's very panicky, very over the top, really kind of annoying, fastidious kind of guy at first impression, obviously. And he's just been fired from his job for 43 years working the trains, and then now he basically his new neighbours move in, and it's sort of. He begins to sort of reevaluate his life a little bit as he tries to kill himself. That's the basic premise, and I can't really give more because obviously that unveils the entire second and third act. But it's a lovely film.
It's a great film.
Oh, I loved it.
I was surprised at how good it was.
Yeah, I loved every minute of it. I think it could be up there with being a perfect film for me. Like, I loved I thought it was really emotional. I loved every character. Found myself grinning, sobbing at all points. I loved everything about it. I really did like it.
I think the emotions in this, we've said quite a lot recently that some films are going down the manipulative route. They really want you to cry.
Like Book of Henry, that was awful.
Yeah, this really engaged my emotions very genuinely and honestly.
Yeah, I think it's because he's kind of like. He's abrasive, not like where Book of Henry, everyone was so lovely and everything was so nice and so everything was so sad. He's actually not trying to make you cry. He's just experiencing these things, and so I think that adds the sort of sour note to the sentimentality, so it becomes a bit more balanced.
I thought the balance of the black comedy aspect of it as well, with the truth. The sorrowness of it, like it's a really sad movie at parts, but it never goes too far one or the other. I mean, I wasn't laughing out loud, a couple of times, but I was sort of grinning. And there's characters in there that, in the same way that Uwe is forced to be nice, as horrible as he is, they just keep being nice to him. They kind of drag you back away from the. Every time you try and get depressed about it, someone pulls you back from it, and so you kind of get behind him and everything about it. And
it's quite a clever little mechanism, because basically he's wanting to end his life, like he's had enough. He wants to go with his wife Sonia, and so he tries to kill himself loads of different times. And it's quite a clever cinematic device where he uses the suicides to set up the flashback, because obviously your whole life's flashing before your eyes. So it's quite a good way to get around a quite awkward thing, to know the background of this character by just saying, oh.
And they're quite funny.
Yeah, like when you know, one of the times when the rope snaps and then he goes to the sort of shop collector, like, universal rope? What is this for? And, like, she can see the mark around his neck, like, what did you use it for? And he's like, idiot, and then walks away.
Yeah, no, it was... and the flashbacks for me were brilliant because, again, they didn't dwell too much on the past, but it gave you this great... slowly as you went through, you're like, I understand him now, I sympathise. Because at the start, you're like, this is a horrible man.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant... And the acting, let's just talk, first of all. This is Rolf Lassgard, who plays the older Hoover.
Yep.
We've got brilliant Baha Paz.
She's great.
She's amazing in it. We've got Ida Engvall and Philip Berg, if I've said all those right. And they were perfect. So they all just matched each other well.
Yeah, it was one of those where you really didn't notice the shift. You weren't divided. They didn't feel like different characters. They felt like the same character, but younger and older, even though they were different actors. And it was a really good crossover.
He's very good. Rolf Lassgard as Uwe is very good in terms of his... Because it's kind of... when I was watching it, it reminded me a bit like Gran Torino and St. Vincent in terms of old man gets like broken up by young people. It's not necessarily a new thing, and like, but he does a very good job of balancing that kind of, oh, young people, I like them now.
Well, even his physicality, I think he's 6'4" anyway, and he's got this big lofty walk. So even when he's like looking over people and the kids who are like hugging him and stuff, he's just like, oh, get off. Just so from physically, he acts it out really well. So.
Well, I'm not surprised that it got nominated for 2 Oscars for Best Foreign Film and Hair and Makeup. Or lack of. Right, we're going to go for popcorns now. So, David, how many out of 5?
I really like... Go and find it if you can. It's a 4 stars. It's a very, very high 4.
For that, I'm going to give it a 5. I loved every minute of it.
He's just topping you every time, isn't he?
Sorry,
One more.
Yeah, but everyone should go and watch it. Go and find it in
really
independent cinema. Go on your own and watch it like you would read a book. Like it was that nice.
It did feel like watching a book, didn't it? Well, it's based on a best-selling book, that would be why. So London Film Club gives A Man Called Hoover 4 out of 5 popcorns. It's rated certificate 15 and it's out in cinemas tomorrow, so go with what the guy's saying, see it. OK, it's break time, but we'll be back in 5 minutes with more of this. Our favourite villain-turned-agent is back with his minions, but his twin brother Drew has different plans. Evil plans. Welcome back. I'm Hannah Jackson with my guests David and Dom for the second half of London Film Club. As we approach the summer, it's all to play for in the cinema box offices, so we put together a weekly list of what is selling well and making the most money. It's Top 5 time.
You see it too?
The beaches remain safe for a 4th week as Baywatch paddles into 5th position.
I see a band of angels and they're coming after me.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Her Salazar's Revenge, is still plundering the box office. 5 weeks in the top 5 has seen the film sail off with over 18 million doubloons.
Pirate's life. Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
Things are unravelling for the Mummy as it trips into 3rd place after being a pretty stuffy runner-up for the last couple of weeks.
Please meet Princess Amenet.
Where is the Justice League when you need it? If only there was some sort of illumination that you could beam into the sky to summon, or I don't know, Batman. Wonder Woman has been knocked from the top spot, but it still lassoed a decent 1.5 million quid this week.
Hippolyta, in the name of all that is good, your wrath upon this world is over.
Transformers: The Last Night is the only new entry in the top 5 this week, which works in its favour, as it blasts into the top spot in a ball of sound and fury and a plot somewhere. We hope this is the last night we will have to say that.
Wonder Woman there, slipping from 1st place to 2nd. Transformers. Yay. Number 1.
Please.
Yay! Right, OK, last up tonight, it's a cops and robbers romance in the toe-tapping Baby Driver.
Shop, let's talk it. The target is an armored truck, the perimeter trust, 10 a.m. sharp. Bank is right next to it. The switch car, baby, hit the long stay parking structure, start in the a.m. Questions?
I got a question, Doc. Why would I believe phones over here heard the goddamn word you said? He ain't even listening. Baby?
The target is an armored truck at Perimeter Trust in Dunwoody, 10 a.m. sharp. The switch car is ready, but you want me to hit the long stay parking structure and get a heist vehicle that stays colder longer? It needs to be ready for an 8:30 start. Questions?
You've been my driver for every job since we met. You're the best in the business.
I'm gonna need you behind the wheel again.
One more job and I'm done.
One more job, and we're straight.
Baby Driver, awesome poster.
Yes.
I enjoy this. And what is it about?
It's a very good film and a very good question. So, Baby Driver is the story of B.A.B.Y. Baby, who's like basically a very, very talented drummer. Has a hum in his drum from tinnitus, where basically he has to listen to something all the time, which means the entire film is set to a beat. Everything is set to a beat, from coffee cups going down to cars driving around corners. And basically, he's a driver for the mobster Kevin Spacey, and we watch him through a series of sort of heist, basically. That's the top line stuff without ruining how far it goes. And it is a really fun film. Like, you'll have a great time watching this.
What a cool movie. It's a classic summer movie as well. It's a really good summer blockbuster, and it's great to see Edgar Wright written and directed by Edgar Wright. And as a fan of him anyway and all his stuff, it's great to see him do something of this sort of scale, really.
Yeah.
And it pay off. I think it's going to be a huge success.
I mean, it is one of the most original films we've seen this year, let alone...
It's quite funny when you look at the top 5 and then, like, now we have something original, because all the others are based on sequels or franchises.
Yeah.
And so Baby Driver is an entirely original movie, and so we have, you know, credit where credit due, entirely of his own concoction, and the beat works so well. Like, the choice of music has one of the best soundtracks. It will just be in your ear. Forget about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
This is the soundtrack.
Well, that's the great thing, is with things like Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously did that first, really, and you worry about people sort of tagging on and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
At no point does it feel like it's forced in any way, and there's a fantastic bit where they have to you have to rewind to the beginning of the track before they can do something, and it's fantastic. And I like the use of the old iPods as well. Gives it that nice retro feel, but it feels like a modern, fresh film, even though it's effectively a little bit of every cool film you've ever watched. And you can just see it's Edgar Wright's back catalogue.
That's a very good point.
It's just his favourite films.
And the soundtrack, though, I did want to bring this up in that it's one of the only films I've ever seen where it doesn't feel like a cool soundtrack on the top.
No.
The music and action are embedded with each other. They're absolutely...
Well, you get
can't
that
separate.
right from the opener, don't you? And you realise what it's going, because you sort of get this idea of like, oh, what it's like it's an action movie told through like the sort of the basic style of a musical. You think, well, how's that going to work?
It's a bit like La La Land.
Yeah, it's
Fast
almost
and
a
Furious meets La
musical,
La
because there are
Land.
bits where, you know, they tap the coffee cups down and that and that starts a beat and that's the rhythm of the film. I think, like, there's one part of me that kind of, like, there's a lot of hype around this, and rightly so. Like, it is a really good film, but I want people to go in as clean as possible as they can, because I think that's the best value you can get from this film. Don't watch any trailers, don't listen to the soundtrack, don't do anything. Like, listen to this, though. But, like, go in as clean as you can, because when you go sit there and you have no idea what's going to come at you, from the very first moment you go, wow, this is great. And that is the best experience, and I think there is a worry that sometimes the hype can get too much, and sometimes you're like, oh yeah, everyone says this is like 5 stars, and you're like, oh yeah, it's all right.
But with the plot, though, I felt like I genuinely, until the end, didn't know what was going to happen. It's very rare. You're like, I really don't know.
Because there's points where it does feel like it's about to go into familiar territory, and it's like, hang on a minute, I've seen this movie, and then it changes, and you think, oh, hang on, I've seen this movie, and it changes, and the good thing from that is you have no idea where it's going to go. But you like all the characters, you like all the baddies, if you can even call them baddies. You like the love story, you like the heist story. You're rooting for the anti-hero, but everyone seems quite nice in it. They
look like they had a lot of fun in these roles, because we've got, I mean, Kevin Spacey, he's having a great time.
Yeah, he's hamming up to the hills.
Lee James, but I mean,
well, that is one of the points. Lily James and Elsa Gonzalez get absolutely nada.
Yeah.
Absolutely nada. Like, it's all the guys who do the cool stuff. Like, Jamie Foxx is the bad villain, Andrew Elgott's the driver, John Hamm's the kind of banker who's gone awry kind of thing. They all have their storylines. Lily James' storyline and Elsa Gonzalez's storylines are fairy dust, which is annoying.
Yeah.
And, like, there's, just to throw a bit more water on the flame, like, I'd say, like, the middle section, it does dip. There's, like, from the opening car chase, which you saw in the trailer, which is awesome, to the foot chase, which you saw in the trailer, also awesome.
Yeah.
There's a bit in the middle where you're like...
Yes. I mean, this has been a bit of a hard job for the editors in this, because it is cut up so well. Even in the trailer is incredible. The cinematography is amazing. The look of it is amazing. I mean, what do we think in terms of just the feel and the look of it?
Well, it's like an Edgar Wright fan film being made with sprinkles of Tarantino on the top.
That's quite
with
good.
with a modern soundtrack. It's I mean, I'd put it in that category. I mean, imagine being 15 and stumbling across this, like the days of finding Dust Till Dawn when you're a kid, or Speed, or like, you know, the stuff that, or like Bad Boys, like the stuff that you like. If you were to find this now as like a 15-year-old, you just think you'd watch it every day for a week.
I mean,
like,
the cinematographer did do The Matrix, so you
Okay.
can see that in there as well. All right, well, I mean, also, just to add, it took him 2 decades in the making, this. It's his first,
he's been writing it for a long time, hasn't he?
First director and writer and director for this.
No, really
okay,
pleased for him.
popcorns, what are we going to go for out of 5?
Very good 4. Very good 4.
Yeah, definitely 4, only because that lag in the middle. 4.
4. OK, London Film Club gives Baby Driver 4 out of 5 popcorns. It's rated certificate 15, and it's out in cinemas tomorrow. Right, that brings us to the end of another show, and I think it's safe to say that has been a brilliant week for film. So no excuses, get to the cinema. Thank you at home for watching, and to the boys David and Dom. I'll be returning next week for more movie magic at the new time of 7 o'clock, so set those reminders now. But until then, here is a trailer to another franchise. It's Spider-Man Homecoming.
There's Captain America. There's Iron Man. Whoa, look at that new guy. Who's that? Underoos. That's my cue. I gotta go. I was in a fight with Captain America and I stole his shield and I threw it at him. What the hell? He's big now. I gotta go.
It was the most amazing thing that's ever happened. So Mr. Stark was like, hey, Underoos. And I just sort of flipped in. Hey, just a second. Coming. Hey.
We have thin walls here.
So what is our next retreat?
What, next mission? We'll call you. I think with a little more mentoring, could be a real asset to the team. It's not a hug.